Praise the Lord, my beautiful, blessed souls. We're bruised and not broken. Back with another word. Want to do Numbers chapter 10. And then I also wanted to get into the solstices because of this time of the year, even though I know it's not 2026, but this is the world we live in. No matter what we do, we're going to put that down anyway on our resumes, on our pieces of paper. So it is what it is. But anyway, you have to learn how to live in the world and not be of it. But I do want to get into Numbers chapter 10, and then we're going to get into the solstices so we can kind of explain and describe some of the things that I was talking about. Okay, so we're in the Numbers chapter 10. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Make 2 silver trumpets of hammered work. You shall make them, and you shall use them for summoning the congregation and for breaking camp. And when both are blown, all the congregation shall gather themselves to you at the entrance of the tent of meeting. But if they blow only one, then the chiefs, the heads of the tribes of Israel, shall gather themselves to you. When you blow an alarm, the camps that are on the east side shall set out. And when you blow an alarm the second time, the camps that are on the south side shall set out. An alarm is to be blown whenever they are to be set out, but when they assembly, it is to be gathered together. You shall blow a long blast, but you shall not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron and the priests shall blow the trumpets, and the trumpets shall be to you for a perpetual statute throughout your generations. And when you go to war in your land against the adversary who oppresses you, then you shall sound an alarm with the trumpets, that you may be remembered before the Lord your God, and you shall be saved from your enemies. On the day of your gladness also, and at your appointed time and appointed feast, and at the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings, over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, so they shall be a reminder of you before your God. I am the Lord your God. And in the second year, in the second month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud lifted from over the tabernacle of the testimony, and the people of Israel set out by stages from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud settled down in the wilderness of Paran. They set out for the first time at the command of the Lord by Moses. The standard of the camp of the people of Judah set out first by their companies, and over their company was Nahshon, the son of Amminadab. And over the company of the tribe of the people of Issachar was Nethanel, the son of Zuar. And over the company of the tribe of the people of Zebulun was Eliab, the son of Helon. And when the tabernacle was taken down, the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari, who carried the tabernacle, set out, and the standard of the camp of Reuben set out by their companies. And over their company was Elazar, the son of Shedeur. And over the company of the tribe of the people of Simeon was Shelumiel, the son of Zerubbabel. And over the company of the tribe of the people of Gad was Elisaph, the son of Duel. Please forgive that blowing. That is my battery smoke detector need changing. I hate it myself. Everybody tells me, girl, it drives me crazy. But anyway, I apologize. Then the Kohathites set out carrying the holy things, and the tabernacle was set up before their arrival. And the standard of the camp of the people of Ephraim, set only by their companies, and over the company of Elishama, the son of Ammihud. And over the company of the tribe of the people of Manasseh was Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. And over the company of the tribe of people of Benjamin was Abidan, the son of Gideoni. Forgive me if I spell things wrong. If I pronounce them, I'm trying to pronounce them the best way I can. Then the standard of the camp of the people of Dan, acting as the rear guard of all camps, set out by their companies, and over their company was Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai, and over the company of the tribe of the people of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Orchran, and over the company of the tribe of the people of Naphtali was Ahira, the son of Enan. This was the order of the march of the people of Israel by their companies when they set out. And Moses said to Hobab, the son of Reuel, Mennonite, Moses' father-in-law, "We are setting out for the place of which the Lord said, I will give to you. Come with us, and we will do good for you. The Lord has promised good to Israel. But he said to him, I will not go. I will depart by my own land and my own kindred. And he said, please do not leave us, for you know where we should camp in the wilderness, and you will serve as eyes for us. And if you do go with us, whatever good the Lord will do to us, the same he will do to you. This is what that, being blessed for those who you're around coming in. So they set out from the mount, I hate that thing, of the Lord, 3 days journey, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them 3 days. The journey to seek out resting place for them, and the cloud of the Lord was over them by day, whenever they set out from the camp. And whenever the ark set out, Moses said, arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee before you. And when it rested, he said, return, O Lord, to the 10,000 of Israel. So now we're going to get into the commentary. We're going to talk about some different things. I'm going to be getting into some different things as well throughout the year because, as I said before, looking at the Bibles, we're going to explore the different languages. We're going to explore a lot of different things that mean a lot, but we don't really think that they do. And it's going to make a lot of sense. Like I said, this is every aspect. As I'm learning, as God is showing me things to look at, as I'm questioning more, wanting to know more. And it's just getting to the point where we want the answers. And some of them we may have, some of them we may not. Some we have to wait on. Some God is, whatever he's doing or whatever's going on. And we'll get the answers as we, he said, seek and knock, you shall find. He didn't say it right away. He didn't say, but. So in this chapter, we have orders given about making and using the silver trumpets. You hear a lot about trumpets, about sounding, about, praise worship, about blasting, sounding the trumpets, about different things, which seems to happen the last of all the commandments God gave upon Mount Sinai. And one of the least yet is not without its significance. For the history of the removal of Israel's camp from Mount Sinai and their ordinary march into the wilderness of Paran, Moses' treaty with Habab, his brother-in-law, Moses' prayer at the removing and resting of the ark. So we see what's going on, the direction concerning the public notices that were to be given out. So this is more of structure, governing, rules, regulations, just like you have your states, your governments, you have your, your little counties, your little cities. This is what this is all about, guys. Breaking it down for his people, the rules and the regs, what they are to do, what they're not to do, how they're supposed to live with each other, with other people, with God, with themselves, with their families, how they're supposed to govern, moving about, all of these type of things. So when we look at these things, this is the foundational principles of what he wants of them, what he requires, what he expects. And anything outside of that is considered to be disobedience, of course. And of course, these will bring upon blessings or cursings, some are some more severe than others. But basically, this is the gist of it. Now the trumpets, and he breaks down the sounding of them, as we can see. And, each, like if it's one long one, whatever, it's going to be a meaning. So this is how they're communicating, how they know what to do, when they know what to do. That's just like if you're in a fire and the bell goes off, this is how they establish having meetings, to have conversations, to make, arrangements, plans, whatever, instructions, rules, to come together, whether it's for business, whether it's for meeting, whether it's for relationship, fellowship, whatever it is, God has laid it out so that we see what they are supposed to do. How they call of the assemblies, and basically, you can get into it. It's kind of lengthy. I don't want to go through it all because I don't think I'll have time. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the commentary just in itself of, hold on. I have to go here and I'm going to look it up. Okay. So Numbers chapter 10 is connecting structure, symbolism, and deeper movement of God's people. It's order, divine signaling. It is a turning point in the book. Up until now, Israel has been camped at Sinai receiving instructions. In this chapter, They are finally moving, meaning, and the movement is not random, it is orchestrated, it is signaled and guided. This chapter is all about how God signals his people, how a community moves together, how order and obedience create harmony, how the journey begins. Let's break it down. This just lets us know, like, if we want to, you see the Amish, you see different people, how they work together, how they live together. And we see in our community, especially the Black community, that is not the case. And there's always so much involved with that. We can look at that in a little bit. So God's commands to Moses was to make 2 silver trumpets. These are not musical instruments. They are communication tools. Remember that. Their purposes was to calling the whole assembly, summoning the leaders, signaling when to break camp, sounding alarms in times of war, announcing festivals and sacrifices. Symbolism. We appreciate silver is redemption. 2 trumpets mean witness plus agreement. Trumpets have divine communication. When they're amplified, the trumpets represent clarity, direction, and unity. They are the voice that organizes the movement of God's people. The cloud, it lifts, Israel moves. After almost a year at Sinai, the movement arrives. The cloud lifts from the tabernacle. This is the same cloud from Numbers 9. God's presence, that is, when the cloud moves, Israel moves. When the cloud rests, Israel rests. This is the first time they follow the cloud on a real journey, meaning spiritual resonance. This is the moment when revelation becomes action. Remember, journeys. Meaning instruction, revelation, action, presence. Instruction becomes journey. Okay, revelation becomes action. Instruction becomes journey, presence becomes guidance. It's the shift from learning to living. This is what we're all supposed to be doing, just like our walk. The order of march, meaning Israel does not move chaotically. Remember that. They move in a divinely ordered formation. When you even look at the ducks and they're flying, or any type of the birds, they are in order. Nothing is out of order. God is not a God of chaos. He is a God of order. So the sequence is Judah because he leads the tribe. Praises go first, while Issachar is second. Zebulun is third. The Gershonites and Merarites carrying the tabernacle structure. Then Reuben, Simeon, and Gad. The Kehathites carrying the holy objects. Ephraim, Manasseh, Benjamin, Dan, Asher, Naphtali. They are the rear guard. Movement is structured. It's not impulsive. Remember that. Every tribe has a place. Worship. Judah leads the way. The holy things travel in the center, meaning protected. This is a picture of spiritually ordered life. That's like the heart, and the center is protected. So it makes plenty of sense. Moses and Habab. Moses invites Habab, his Midianite relative, to travel with Israel. Habab knows the wilderness and its terrain. Moses said, "You will be our eyes." This is fascinating. God guides by cloud, yet Moses still values human wisdom, right? Divine guidance does not cancel human partnership. It's a picture of humility because we are here and we still have to live on earth. God, of course, is there and he's divine. But we still need each other, and when God is working, and this is the difference between, and this is something I think a lot of us have struggled with because we still live here on earth. So we do understand, hold on. Give me 1 second. I don't know what's going on with my, we have to understand, what is this? Come on. Yeah, we have to understand that, what is going on? Okay, there we go. We have to understand. All right, let me go. What happened? The God is moving, and when he's moving and he's showing us, when, where, how, what to do, all these things. I don't know what happened to this thing. What is going on? I think something's going on with my internet. Give me 1 second. Oh, let me see. It's acting stupid. I need to refresh, please. Give me 1 second. You know what? I don't know why this thing is doing this. Give me 1 second. I don't know why it's not connecting. I had it was doing fine, and then it stopped. So let me keep going. It stopped here. And I don't know why it stopped here. It's the internet is acting crazy. I can't give you a second. Duvet. 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 Pause your game and come here for me because this thing is not, I don't know what it's doing. Is it because it's online? Duvet! Come do me a favor. Why is it not, because you changed your password, right?
What you talking about?
Because it's saying disconnected. Why is it not connected? The
internet messing up. Man.
I know, but I need it connected because I'm doing a video right now, and it's for whatever reason it's not it's frozen. It's not allowing it to do what I need it to do. You gonna come fix it for me?
I mean, the internet fine.
Okay, but what is with this? Do I have to put the thing in there because you changed it, didn't you?
No, I've been connected that.
So
it's
why
just
is
the internet just disconnects sometimes. I don't know why.
Okay, here we go. Connect. There we go. Okay, it's saying connected secured, but it's not doing anything. Hold on. I don't know why this thing's acting stupid. Come on, I need it to refresh. Okay. Alright, give me 1 second, because this thing is just, I don't know. It was connected. He was playing his game, so I wasn't sure if it stopped because of that or what. I'm like, and I hate that stupid thing. Alright, let me see. Let me go back to where I was because let me see if it refreshed. It didn't. I don't know why. Stupid thing. Alright, come on, you stupid thing. And I need to turn. Close your door. Because I can hear you in there. You're loud. He's home from his hiatus from school. That's what you can say. Boy, is your door closed? You loud. I try not to bother him. He's laughing. It's crazy. Forgive me, y'all, okay? Because life is life and people be people, and as we can see, and I just have to deal with it for now. I'm normally in his room because the computer's in there. I'm out here on his laptop. He's playing his game. The live with him and his friends, of course. I'm just like, listen, I just can't with it. So anyway, this thing is acting crazy, but as I was saying before, I'm just going to have to go back. I don't know. I was talking about the solstices, but I didn't want to get that far yet because I wanted to talk about all this other stuff, which I don't know what's going on. This thing is acting crazy. I don't know why it's getting... Let me cut this off because it's a lot of stuff open that I don't need open. No, I don't want you doing that right now. Now, we shut that down. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Is a picture of humility. Okay. So like I was saying, at the end of the day, we still have to live here. We still have to be here. When God works and he moves, he's going to move. Sometimes we think it's this, magical thinking stuff, which they do happen that way. We do have miracles that happen, but then there's stuff that happens like us waking up every day that we do not consider to be a miracle, but it is because it's something we're so used to and we do it daily. We take things for granted, but God works through people. He uses people, and because that is one of the things that he does, we tend to not. He sends destiny helpers, just like there are people that come to help with us, and there are people that the devil sends to kind of like destroy us or tear us down. So it works both ways, and but it is through people. But anyway, like I was saying, so basically that's what that is. They move synchronized. Everything is broken down for them. They're getting ready to move forward in their journey. Remember, a journey is action. That's just like salvation. You get saved, then the cleansing part starts. It's always a moving forward, progressive situation. We're going to have our different habits, thoughts, habits, cycles, and patterns. Why? Because we're going to do different things at different times. We don't want to be doing the same old thing. Just like we're going to have different times, seasons. This is what we're talking about, seed time, harvest. We're going to have good, we're going to have bad, we're going to have in between, time to plant, time to sow, time to reap, these different things. So when we look and we think about these things in every aspect of our lives, whether it be in our spiritual aspect of our life, our mental, emotional, physical, financial, spiritual well-being, ourselves, our children, our ministries, our family, friends, our work, whatever that may, be, whether it's God's work, which we should do everything to God, or if it's at our jobs or our careers, and we have to be studying, we have to be moving and growing all the time. So, it's in life can be a lot. This is why we need God all the way. We need to help Him to help us balance it. For us not to be, one way or the other. We are trying to be, carry whatever it is He gives us to manage. As far as in our lives, we don't want to ask for more than we can handle, because as I was telling people right now, I'm enjoying the stage I'm in life, because I've never really had the time to do with just me. So this is a time in my life where I'm able to actually deal with just me. And just dealing with me is a lot. Just trying to have healing and deliverance and dealing with my old and now and, in every aspect of my life is a lot. So let alone having children and other things, which I had before, and never really got the time for myself. So it's like now that I'm starting to get this time, I'm starting to see I neglected myself a lot. And I did it for the family and the bills and the house, the kids, the husband, the career, whatever it was, that I was doing. But I was very unfulfilled, and I left God out of a lot of things. I left, God is the glue. He holds everything together. He gives you the strength to get up on your days when you're weak, all of these type of things, to go on. And when I think about all these times in my life, I just see God and how He had moved. And it was something He said at the end of the year. It's a couple of scriptures that I want to give you. And then I wanted to go into the solstices because it ties into what we're talking about, of the theme of time, of, rituals, tradition, of culture, of practices, of, things like that. But this was one. It's called Always. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. This is Psalms 1:28. God's promise of provision is eternal. It exists in the current moment, and it exists in our future. Often one of these two facts eludes us. We understand the abstract idea that God will provide for us, at least ultimately, but we forget He is providing for us here and now, right? We can trust our current circumstances, inner battles, and daily struggles to Him. These are things we don't really think about. It's also easy to forget. Remember, God will watch over us in the long run. Even if we have food over our head, a roof over our table, roof overhead, food on our table. Today we can worry about the future. We tend to plan our personal futures and forge a secure path as we can. How boldly might we live if we knew that the Lord will watch over us both now and in the future? Lord, you provide for me every day, even in my old age. This is something that we all are preparing for. When I can't provide for myself, you will watch over me. Give me faith for my future today in the light of your promises. Because most times this is what we're doing, especially when you get to certain places in your life. Everything's milestones. You're allowed. And this comes with, like I was talking about before, the times and the seasons. That includes your age in your life and how you're growing, maturing, not just in your age, but your mental, capacity. Are you maturing, reaching your milestones? And so when we look at life, we, certain times in our lives, we want to do certain things, or we're changing. We're not remaining the same. That's a part of the cycle of the old part of us dying, the transition, moving forward, the in-between stages where it's difficult. So this is what this is all about. As we see, even though this is not the new year, they're celebrating it, and it's something that it's a transformation time. We are in winter, which is a part of the solstice. We are looking, at each season, at each time, saying goodbye to one and embracing the next. Also, I had written this thing down because I was looking at my life 3 years ago. Give me 1 second because I wanted to share this. It was very important. Give me 1 second. Eating a stupid noise. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I had someone up there. This was a journal that I had 3 years ago when I first moved back to New York with a whole lot of nothing. I hope you guys are able to see what I have wrote down. God was reflecting. I'm reflecting, of course, and God has brought me such a mighty long way from the 3 years ago when I left South Carolina. When I was married, I had my children and all that. And, me and my husband separated in 2019. So a lot has been going on in my life. And so, it's just a lot. And we had been together from 2012. So when you look at my testimony, so it's like it's, dying to the old, getting rid of the old, moving, transitioning. But I'm happy because when I came back to New York with just, 1 or 2 bags, me and my son with nothing, we just lost everything. And I was like, Lord, and I wrote that, and I was like, I was so aggravated, frustrated, I was so tired. And it's like God is showing me, like, I am living proof, living testimony that God is real. He is active. He is moving in our lives. He's making a way for us, and just being thankful for keeping me this long. Even when I, almost died twice in 2020, 5 years later, I'm still here. The things that I went through that I thought would have killed me, the temporary things of trying to take my life and all of that. And it was a temporary situation that I was going through, but I was making permanent decisions. So we got to pay attention to all these things. It's like, it's just so much coming back. And he showed me, although I am not where I used to be in life, or where I want to be in life, I'm still not where I used to be. So I'm thankful for where I am now, because I'm still moving forward. I'm still transitioning. Even though I've fallen, I've gotten back up. Things have went wrong. Even this year coming or whatever, it's not even the new year. It doesn't start until April 1st, but we're celebrating it. They're celebrating it now. But just it being winter and it being a change, it's going to change from this time of the year when it does change. And to each his time and each his season. God says in the word, everything has its time and everything has a season. So when we're looking at this, I wanted to go into just like the order, like even with the celebrations and the feast and all of these things and being in alignment. It means so much. It is very important that we keep these things even though we haven't. And I'm going to look into these things more, like I was saying before, even with the language, because I have the different books here of the Bible. Boy, it's a lot. That one. I try to compare the scriptures actually because I'm just trying to do that. This one is, which one is this one? Oh, I don't want to rip it. I forget which one this one is. Oh, please don't let me rip it. That's that one. This one is the Ethiopian one. Like I was telling you about the, what is it? This is my concordance. Like I was saying about the, who was it? Even the wording, because I have the Greek, the Latin, the different ones and how it's written. So we compare even the languages and, Aramaic is different and translation and all these things and who wrote the Bible. Like they talk about King James, who was, homosexual. A lot of things were put in, taken out, the Apocrypha, which I have that as well. We need to look into those. Then we talk about the Talmud, the original canons, the Apocryphas, the Kabbalah, the original 5 books is the Torah. But so when we think about these things and we're just on our journey and we're learning, because we're going to consistently be learning, and whatever we are and whatever we're knowing and we're sharing, and thank God for each other, because he's going to work not only through, powers and wonders, but mainly he's going to work through other people and just regular things in life. And I think this is the part in life that people do not seem to get and understand, because you're going to have more regular days. This is like marriage and everything else, regular normal days that you're going to have to look at as, because that's what they are, little miracles each and every day, the small, boring things in our lives, because we're looking always for the big stuff and always for the brand and always for the extra and exceptional. But we must understand that life will not always be that way. And even in those times when it's just regular and everyday, like they're going through these times of when they're, just every day is the same. It's boring. They're just doing the same old things. And it's like, are we there yet? So we have to sit there and really just look back and say, you know what? Because you're going to have more of those than the excited ones. Everyone's looking for the excited, the big blow up, the life-changing moment when today is the life-changing moment. You're here, you're alive, you're breathing, you're not in a coffin, you're not sick, you're not, some people didn't make it this far even in life in the year, some people left here the beginning of the year, the middle of the year. So here we are. I think about my grandmother all the time because I go visit her, and she's 92 years old. It's like, oh my God. And every year that she's here, and every year we're able to celebrate her birthday, and every year we're able to do, and her birthday's a week before mine. And she raised me, so it's a lot. And it's like, every year she's here and I see that other people who are younger than her, who, are gone and different things. It's like, wow, it's just a blessing because the people we would think would be gone sometimes are not. And the people, you see what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing. So, and I was with her on Christmas last week, and I was with her, and it was so funny. Because I kept telling her, because I remember when I was younger, and she used to tell me, she'd say, boo boo, what she used to say to me. And I would say, I don't want more, I don't want more. I was little. And when I didn't want anymore, I would push it and say, I don't want more. So this is what she was telling me, and this is what we was going through. And she was like, because she wanted, she likes sweets, even though she's not supposed to have them. She's a diabetic. So what happened was she wanted, she always gets me to get her sweets and stuff. So she wanted cake. We had the cake for her. But she wanted to eat the cake. She can't want the cake. And I said, no, grandma, you can't eat the cake. This is how she used to do it. You can't eat the cake until you eat your food. So she's like, okay. So she ate the food and she wanted more. She's like, no, give me the cake, give me the cake, give me the cake. So she's funny like this. And she's a mess. Even though she's older, she doesn't play. She's firm, she's strict, she mean what she says, she'll tell me she'll get switched to me even to this day. I'm looking at her like, you can't even get out the bed by yourself. But I don't, it's like, what, but she funny, she a trip, and she don't play. To this day, she just does not, how feisty. So when grandma start acting up, we be like, let's get it together, because you already know. Get it together. So I had to hurry up and go get the cake for her. And she ate it. She didn't want nothing else. She was like, pushed it all aside. She didn't want no more. Give her the cake. She don't want nothing else but the cake. She didn't want the tea, nothing else. So it was just so funny. So I really enjoyed that with her. And so those are the times that I take pictures. I do all these things because I remember when one of my nephews, he got killed a couple years ago, and then I didn't really have any pictures with him, so he reminded me to take pictures and have photos because you just don't know, so I would have my times with her. So when she does leave, and when God does, we all know we're leaving here eventually one day. And so whenever she does, leave here and God does call her home, then I will at least have those memories and those photos and pictures of her. And, I will know that it will help me in my transition in those times to remember the times we did have together. So this is what this is about. But anyway, I just wanted to share that real quick. So now we're going to look into, because it's a time for everything, remember, to live, to die, to do everything. So when we look at the solstices, because I'm going to break down, it's clear. So I hear people talking about solstices, winter, spring, summer, fall, and I wanted to know exactly what was it, and what it was about. So here's a clear, engaging breakdown of the solstices. Once we are exploring the deeper layers of things, leave both scientific meaning and symbolic spiritual resonance. So solstice is, scientifically, a solstice is the moment when the sun reaches its northernmost or southernmost point relative to Earth's celestial equator. So 2 solstices happen every year. June solstice is around June 20th to 22nd. The sun is farthest north. December solstice is around December 20th to the 22nd. And the sun is furthest south. These mark the longest and shortest days of the year, and depending on your hemisphere. So June solstice is northern, starts of summer, longest days. December solstice is northern, start of winter, shortest days. June solstice, southern, start of winter, shortest day is daylight. December solstice is southern, start of summer, longest days. So this is how this goes. So the spiritual and symbolic meaning for this, someone who naturally looks for the inner pattern beneath outer or even events. So here's the deeper layer. Winter solstice, this is what they call it. December is the longest night of the year, a symbol of rebirth, renewal, and light returning. A threshold moment, the turning from darkness toward increasing light. In many traditions, it represents hope emerging from stillness. Summer solstice is June, the longest day of the year, symbol of fullness, illumination, strength, and peak in clarity. It is a moment of abundance before the slow return toward darkness, often associated with harvest, blessing, and spiritual empowerment. Why solstices matter in biblical and ancient calendars? Since we have been exploring the Hebrew calendar and biblical timing, the biblical calendar is lunar, but agricultural seasons, which depend on solstices, anchor the festivals. Okay, so this is where this is about, even though they do not reference them. So this is not, we're going to get into that. They anchor the festivals. Aviv, which is in the spring, must occur after the spring equinox, and they talk about that as well, which is tied to the solstice cycle. I'm going to get into those. Solstices mark the cosmic rhythm that underlines the appointed times modem. They're like the cosmic hinges on which the year turns. Now, if we want to recap and go deeper, the biblical symbolism of solstices are how ancient Israel understood the sun's turning points, how solstices relate to spiritual journey, that's themes we've been exploring. Just tell which one direction. Okay. Solstices, are they biblical? They're present in the biblical worldview, but they're not. The Bible does not use the modern word solstice, yet phenomena itself is clearly a knowledge embedded in creation and used to structure a sacred time. It's an absolute, are they biblical? It says absolutely, but solstices are present, but they're not used the way that it's, so we're going to get to, let us break it down in the way it fits. For the love of symbolism, calendars, and deep meaning, solstices in the Bible directly and indirectly. The Bible explicitly says God created the signs, the seasons, and appointed times. Right. This is the foundation. God places the sun, moon, and stars in the heavens for the signs, for the seasons. Modem. M-O-E-D-I-M. The same word used for biblical festivals. Okay. For days and years, this means sun's turning points, including solstices, are part of the divinely designed system for marking sacred time. This is what we're talking about because we're looking at time. We're marking it. The solstices are the extreme points of the sun's yearly path. They are literally built into the structure of the modem. M-O-E-D-I-M. I gotta find out what that word means. The Hebrew word for seasons is modem. It's not weather or seasons. It means appointed sacred times. See? So the modem, Passover, Shabbat, Sukkot, accepted, depended upon the lunar months, solar seasons, and agricultural cycles. Okay, so now this is where, so those agricultural cycles are anchored to equinoxes and solstices. So even though the Bible doesn't say summer solstice, the entire biblical calendar depends on solar cycles that solstices define. Yet the Bible references the turning of the year. This phrase points directly to the solar cycle, Exodus 34:22. The feast of ingathering at the turn of the year. The turn, which is Hebrew tekufa, literally means circuit, cycle, turning point of the sun. In ancient Hebrew usage, tekufa referred to solstices, equinox, the major turning points of the year. So yes, solstices are embedded in biblical language. But solstices in ancient Israel's understanding, ancient Israel was not ignorant of the sun's movements. They tracked it. The length of days, the position of the sunrise and sets, the agricultural seasons, the new moons. The solstices mark the peak of summer, harvest season, the peak of winter, the return of light. These were not pagan ideas. They were observational realities, but built into creation. Okay, so this is what this is about. Because even the Magi were watching. So remember, everything that God uses, the devil uses. So remember that, because this is a mimic of what they do with the astrological stuff. Now, the spiritual symbolisms, which we know and love, winter solstice is deepest night, returning light. Biblical resonances with hope, rebirth, God bringing light out of darkness. The pattern of exile, meaning restoration. Yeah, from winter to, yeah. Winter is when nothing is bitter, it's cold, nothing's growing. Summer solstice, full light, beginning of decline. Biblical resonances with fullness, blessing, harvest. The reminder that even abundance cycles back toward humility. Right. So it's always going to be a both situation. The solstices mirror the spiritual rhythm of scripture. Descent and ascent. Darkness and light, death and resurrection, right? The cycle. So are solstices biblical? It says yes, absolutely, but not as named holidays, but as God designed celestial markers that structure the biblical year, the agricultural cycles, and the timing of the appointed feasts. They are part of the cosmic clock that God set in motion. Hold on, I want to go into yes. And I want to know. Okay, so I'm looking. Why is it doing this? I wanted to look into who practice equinoxes and solstices because that was gonna let us know a lot. I don't know why this thing is still not letting me do what I need to do. Why is that? Oh, I wanted to explore it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to because it's acting stupid. Come on. Okay. No, I don't want it to do that. Okay. No, I said no. I don't want you to do that. Go back to this. I don't want them to do. Okay, so what just happened? It's asking me about. I don't want them to. No, I don't want you to do that. It wants me to do the microphone. I don't want to do the microphone. Okay, so what just happened here? Because this thing is just acting. I just asked it something and it's asking me all of this other crap that I don't need. No. How do I? It says no. I don't want them to do that. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I want this. Okay. This is, I think, explore. Libra. Who celebrated equinoxes? Solstices. Hopefully it'll give it to me now. Okay, who celebrated equinoxes and solstices? So this is across ancient civilizations, drawing from search. Okay, so across the ancient world, many cultures orientated their calendars, right, temples, rituals, and agricultural cycles around these celestial turning points. The search results confirm this clearly. Below is a structure developed ancient civilizations that built monuments aligned to solstices and equinox. Many ancient cultures constructed stone monuments precisely aligned with sunrise or sunset on solstice or equinox days. Examples are Stonehenge, England, aligned with the summer solstice sunrise. Chichen is a Maya equinox serpent shadow on the pyramid, so we see where this is going. New Grand in Ireland, winter solstice sunrise illuminates the inner chamber. These sites show that the solstices equinox were not casual observations, they were central to ritual life, meaning indigenous North American cultures. So this is where they started deepening into the witchcraft, divination, sorcery, because now they took it to a different level that it wasn't supposed to go into. So the search results highlight the ancestral Pueblo people, Chaco, Canyon, Mesa, Verde, Halvenweep, track solstices and equinoxes using petroglyphs, pictographs, architectural alignments, and they use these celestial markers to time planting ceremonies and season cycles. This shows a deep integration of sky, land, and ritual. Mesoamerican civilization, meaning Mayas, Aztecs, Olmecs. Mesoamerican cultures were master astronomers. See, the Maya aligned temples to solstice, equinox sunrises, the Aztec calendar, stone encoded solar cycles, rituals, planting, and kingship ceremonies were tied to these turning points. Such results confirm that these civilizations used celestial events to guide agriculture, ritual, and navigation. So ancient Near East and Mediterranean, these ones which were Egyptians, right? The temple of Karnak aligns with the winter solstice sunrise. The Nile flood cycle was tied to solar movements. The Greeks, equinoxes marked agricultural seasons and festival cycles. The Greek word trope, turning, refers to solstices. Romans, Winter solstice was celebrated as Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, birth of the unconquered sun. See, these are where they went left with it. East Asian civilizations, China, the winter solstice, has been celebrated for over 2,000 years. It marks the return of yang energy. That's the name. The rebirth of light. Japan equinoxes became national holidays tied to ancestor veneration. See, this is where they get all into left field about this. Spring equinox. This is where that comes from. So they veered off from what God had originally did, which was something, and then they took it and ran with it in their own direction and did what they wanted to do. Now, this marked planting season. Okay, this search results emphasize that ancient peoples used solstices, equinoxes to mark planting season, time, harvest, structured ceremonial calendars, and this echoed in the statement that solstices and equinoxes guided agriculture activities and shaped religious rituals. See, these are getting into things that they were doing that were extra. God didn't tell them to do this. So obviously if he wanted this, he would have had us doing this. But he did not specify to do these things. So the things that they're doing are not things they should be. And the things that they're supposed to do, they are not doing. So here we go. So many cultures celebrate these days across civilizations. Solstices and equinoxes symbolizes, once again, worshiping everything but what we should be worshiping. Not the creator with the creations and all these other things. This is where misalignment comes in. Solstices, winter solstice, rebirth, alignment, hope. Summer solstice, fullness, abundance, peak vitality. Equinox, spring equinox, renewal, planting, resurrection time. Themes, autumn equinox, harvest, gratitude, preparation for darkness, right? These are cosmic thresholds, meaning, remember, we talked about the thresholds, we talked about the gates, we talked about the portals. So I did that in the video before. So these, and this is what they're doing. They're raising altars, covenants, and contracts, which is rituals, which is habitual, traditional cultures. This is where we get all of this stuff from. So when we look at what goes on in the world today and how these things influence, just like them changing the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday, they're taking the place of God, just like AI, all those other things. And it's sad because we're using AI more and more. They're relying on God, our own brains. God wants us to be codependent upon him for a reason, because we're supposed to be, we're made to be. And outside of him, we start doing all this other stuff. And this is where they get all of this. And this is why we be falling whenever we're not tied to God. Things go wrong. It's not to say things don't go wrong because they allow things, but it's different. So when we look at these things, how this connects to the biblical world. Even though the biblical world does not name solstice, equinox, festivals, the Hebrew calendar is anchored to the same solar cycle, meaning the turning of the year, right? Agricultural, Passover, all of that. Genesis says the heavenly lights mark millennium. Okay, appointed times. So Israel participated in a cosmic rhythm, but the way that they did is distinction, theological meaning. It was different. It was tied to because sometimes it's not what you do, but how you do it. Sometimes it's not what you say, but how you said it. And this is what that is with God. Because if you did what he told you to do, that's one thing. But if you did what he told you to do your way or in another way, then that would be different, because it's not exactly what he told you to do. This is what I was talking about when I said people give you what they want you to have instead of what you ask for or require. God requires, asks for certain things, certain way. But we tend to give it to him how we want, when we want, when we feel like it, and that's not acceptable. This is not what he asked, not what he wants, not what he told us to do. So this gets to be us doing what we want to do instead of doing what he told us to do. See what I'm saying? So are we really doing what he wants? Are we really being obedient or disobedient? It's things I gotta look at. But okay. So the tekphah in the Hebrew relates to solstices, whether ancient Israel tracks solstices intentionally, how solstices equinox mapped onto the biblical feast cycle, the spiritual meaning of these turning points in our own journey. Okay, so we have basically just looked at a lot of things. I wanted to look into the languages. I know God did the languages things himself when it came to the Tower of Babel, and it made the languages different. So now we have to communicate with each other, because basically we're getting together to go against God. As it's like, why is that always the thing here, the theme? But anyway, let me see. I think I'm gonna leave this one right here because we tend to get off into these extra things. We don't want to get even the garden when he tricked her and he mixed the wording. Remember, it's mixing of the wording. God did not tell you that, And it wasn't. It's just he gently, slickly changed the wording, and so it confused, it tricked, it deceived, it gave illusion and delusion. It gave question, wonder. And this is where all of that steps in. And then this is where we be jacked up. And I get it because when I'm asking God questions and I want to know things, like even when I wrote this thing, and I'm still listening, And there's just some things we should do, and there's certain things we shouldn't, because it's, crossing lines and doing extra stuff. And that's where the Spirit has to guide us, pull us back and be like, listen, don't go delving too much into that because it's going to lead you somewhere else. Now, do you want the truth yet? But can you handle the truth? Can you deal with the truth? And how do you apply it? Because even knowing the truth and know what to do and applying it and how to apply it when, where, and how, that gets to be, another thing, because that's the action part of it. It's just like having faith and working and doing things and starting things and actually putting it in action. And this is where, that comes in as well. So when we look at these things, it gets to be very tricky. It can be. It can be confusing. It could trick us. It could deceive us. So we have to be careful. We have to be mindful. I, myself, have just been like, okay. And then sometimes I just back off. I'm like, Lord. And then if it's getting too much into some stuff that I either shouldn't be or, the Holy Spirit let me like, nah, it just might be too much for you. And I was talking about the dogma books and the different ones. And part of me wants to read certain things. But then part of me is like, should I not? Should I wait? Should I, allow God to grow me some more before I go engaging in certain things? Am I ready for it? So, and that's just, in general with a lot of things in life, because just because you can doesn't mean you should. And, so that's basically what that is. That's with everything, just, So I hope that this word was a blessing to you guys. And even as we look, because I know I was posting up stuff about, because these things happen all over the world, whether it's, the witchcraft and sorcery, whether it's the divination, the forbiddenness, whether it's government. Don't think it's just in one country, because it's all over the world and everyone has their little stuff. I was looking up about the Muhammad and the Allah and their stuff and how, they do a bunch of different stuff, which those are, I believe, between Esau's kids and I forget whose kids, Isaac's kids, and that's why they're warring all the time and we're the enemies of your own household. So when we look at these things, we see, and this is why our own households are the same way, fight amongst ourselves, because, can't kill Abel, Isaac and Ishmael, those are Ishmael's kids over there that are doing the Allah people, the halal, which they say means Satan. Halal means Satan, I believe. And when we see, how they're operating with their stuff as well, because, they talk about the priests and the Catholics, and then you got but they have the dancing boys of Afghanistan, and they have, like, if you look up these things, America has its stuff, but it's all the same when you look at it. If they're trafficking drugs, if they're trafficking, children and human beings, if they're sacrificing, if they're prostituting, if they're money laundering, if their business practices are so evil, wicked, if it's all about enslavement and power and, wealth and money and fame and control, okay, this is what this is about. And all of it affects us all. Mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. It does. In every aspect. This is why we have to consistently be praying and, fasting or asking for healing and deliverance and restoration. Because as we're here in this world, these things are happening. And whether we're a part of them or not, you know what I'm saying, they do affect us because we're here. So, they affect us, our bloodlines. They affect how we live and move, how we are here in this world. If they stop the elite necessity system with the fingerprinting and the ID and the credit systems and all these things. But you don't think that it's going to affect us all. It doesn't matter what color, what race, what gender you are, how much money, how much education. If you're not a part of the 1%, it's going to affect you. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not a part of them. And so we can sit here and argue and fight amongst ourselves with who has more money, because a lot of these people think that because they have more money, or because if you're black, or, the Bolet and the elite gatekeepers, that means something. It does not. They gave you a little bit more privilege, but it doesn't mean that you have any actual power or any actual alliances. And this is even with the occult. People think that because they're involved with certain things that it means that there's no loyalty there, sweetie. And they turn on each other for the same reasons. Why? Because everyone's after the next come up, or the next. No one's satisfied. No one's okay. No one's content with what they. It's always a matter of doing more, doing better, outdoing each other, competition. Sacrificing, killing each other, outdoing each other, doing each other dirty to move forward. This is the way this goes. And they say people be people and life be lifing, and this is what it is. And humans be humaning. That's what it is. So when we look at all of those things, we kind of see how it lines up, and it just makes a lot of sense. Because when you think about the trafficking, the Pizzagate, the Frizzlegate, and all of that, and then you think about over there the marrying the young girls and selling them, and women having no rights and all of these things, and them killing their kids and all of these things for these different ritualistic practices, the Kabbalah, the Talmud, this one, the Quran. You got to look at this thing for what it is. You got to see that Satan is in a lot of this stuff. That includes those versions of whatever they inserted, because even with the Bible, if he's inserted some things that we know is not of God, because we look at these things like, why would God do that? That just sounds like it's some human or culture or traditional spin to it. You see what I'm saying? It has something that they did themselves to that because they just wanted to do that. And in translation, they just took some stuff out, changed some words around, and snuck that on in there. See, so this is the sifting, I would say. So we need to be paying attention. We need to be asking for truth. We need to be really researching and asking God to let us know what's what, who's who, what's what, because even, I know I'm talking about women in ministry and all that, but then it's also of, why wouldn't women be in ministry? When Christ came, there were a lot of them that helped fund the ministry, help with the ministry. So what would that be about? But then we know for a fact that he wouldn't want them marrying babies and having sex with them and all those other things. But see, you would question the women's stuff, but you're not questioning all that other stuff. So you're not going to question them being mutilated, beaten, tortured, raped, left for dead. But why? So the main arguing factor or point will be, women shouldn't be in ministry, or women should do this, or men should be over the head and over. Okay, so what about all of the men who failed and lacked at their jobs? So what were the women supposed to do? They didn't want to be the head. They didn't want to lead. They left. They went on. So the women supposed to what? Just die? Let the children die? Don't do anything? No, they had to raise up. They had to do something. So when we start looking at these things, it has to start making sense. And when I say that, I'm talking about because God would not sit there and be like, because she's a woman, she can't be the head of the household. Why? Because if the man leaves and he's not a part of the household, then the woman would have to be that. Whether she wanted it, God said it or not. Which entails give her to be the priest of the household, whether she wanted to or not, because she's going to be the one blessing and cursing the, why? Because now this is what this is about right here. Where is the man in the household? So we would argue about the one who's there. We would tear that one down. We would bash her, beat her up. She may have made mistakes here and there, but the one who never did anything, didn't care, left. But doesn't matter. I'm just asking the question. So these are things we need to start really looking at and paying close attention to. And when we look at how the Bible was put together and how they sat down and pick and chose what ones to put in, even with the Apocryphas, when you see some of the things with the Apocryphas, the book of Enoch, different ones, That kind of explains some other stuff that we didn't see or didn't know, because they wanted it left out because they didn't want the whole truth to be told. So this is what this is about. Deception, sneakiness, delusion, all of these things that they just don't want us to know. And it's not because, it's because they don't want us to know for their power purposes, for them having the authority, the power, for not questioning, for not being held accountable for what they're doing, because a lot of what they're doing is wrong. But you would never know that because you're just going along with it, whatever it is they said and did. And this is how power in the wrong hands could be so, which we see it all the time, is corrupt, it's wicked, it's evil, because it's just that they want to do it. But this is the spirits that they're operating out of, because they're selfish, and most of us are selfish. When we think about all of us going through things or having, issues and trauma, and every last one of us have done it or had some type of something in our lives. But how we work from that, and sometimes it's the spell or whatever, it's our actions, it's our thoughts, it's the way we thinking of, it's the patterns, it's what we know is normal and what we think is right. And until we see that it's not, until someone comes along like, nah, living like that is wrong, because you live like that all your life. And then when you go live somewhere else or someone else, this is where us coming in to help one another, to guide one another, to teach and train each other on things, because we don't always have it all together. And God gives people certain stuff to help. This is the hands and the eyes and ears and nose and mouth, walking, talking, here to help us. We do not know it all. We can all learn from each other. Yes, we can. But a lot of people, you don't know a lot of things where you didn't go. You didn't have these. You need people who are already, in certain situations. And it's not to say people outside can't help or can't assist or can't have something to say. Huh? You be back? Okay. Bring me a soda, please.
Huh? Soda?
Yeah. Even though I shouldn't be drinking it. If they got a cherry Coke, bring me a cherry Coke. But yeah. That's my boy. He's leaving to the store. So, I'm glad to have him home, because I be here and I be missing my baby. But, I'm glad that I have the Lord here. But yeah, as I was saying, so we're here to help one another. We're here to build and grow. This is why we weren't meant to be alone. We were meant to be a man and woman. All these things that separate us and divide us is really man-made or evil, wicked made, Satan and his systems and kingdoms. And they do divide us by, like I said, if it's not education, who has the most money, the clout, the this, the power, the envy, the looks, the this, the that. All these things that people just tend to, I'm better because I got that, and I'm this, and they really, in their minds, be thinking they're so much better. I just like, okay, alrighty then. I mean, because when it comes to certain things, let me just leave it alone. It doesn't really even, it's weird, it's strange. But all right, I know that it's not the actual. It's really, really not. This is not news. Oh, I know what I wanted to find out. Because this year is the year of 5,000. The number 5,786 meaning. Oh, God. Since that everyone's talking about meanings of the years and the numbers, we're going to see what this year actually means. Here's a clear, grounded, biblically oriented explanation of the meaning of the Hebrew year 5,786, which is the year we are actually in, using the information from the search results we triggered and weaving it into symbolic spiritual style. So, each letter carries symbolic meaning in the biblical Hebrew, Tav, Shin, Pev, Vav. And the search results give us insight into these meanings interpreted in Jewish and Christian traditions. I'm not a Christian. I am a follower, a believer. Below is a breakdown based on the sources. Tav, covenant completion. Wow. Covenant and completion. Biblical. Tav is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The end, the seal, the mark of fulfillment. Wow, biblical resonance, God completing what he began. Wow, the sealing of promises, the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. Didn't we, you know what, God is so good. Didn't you? We just talked about this. This is confirmation. 2, Shin, fire, refining, divine presence. Shin symbolizes fire, refinement, and the presence of God. Biblical resonance, God as a consuming fire, purification, burning away what no longer belongs. Wow, revelation and holiness. Here we go. Peh, the mouth, speech, proclamation. We are in the decade of the Peh, the 80s in the Hebrew calendar. The search results emphasize that Peh represents the mouth, speech, and proclamation. Wow, biblical resonance, speaking truth, prophetic declaration, blessing versus cursing, the power of the tongue. Wow, Proverbs 18:21. This decade is all about what is spoken, alignment of speech with God's word. Oh, wow, look at that. Vav, connection, joining the hook. Vav is described as a connector, a pin that joins heaven and earth. In Hebrew grammar, Vav literally means and, meaning the connector. Wow. Biblical resonance, heaven connecting with earth, God joining past and future, unity, continuity of God's plan. Putting it all together, the biblical meaning of 5,786, which is the year we're supposed to be in based on the search, is the year of truth spoken truth spoken boldly, refining fire, covenant fulfillment, connection between heaven and earth. Wow. Or as another source put it, a year to connect your breath. Heed to the sword, Zayin, meaning your words must align with the word of God. This is deeply biblical. God refines his people. God fulfills his covenant. God calls his people to speak truth. God joins heaven and earth through his purposes. Whoa. In short, it means a year of covenant fire, proclamation, divine connection. A year where God refines, he fulfills, he calls his people to speak, and God joins heaven and earth in new ways. Isn't that a beautiful year? Hallelujah. Oh, wow. If you want, we can also explore the numerical meaning of Gematria. What is that? It's a prophetic pattern of the 80s decade. How this connects to your own spiritual journey. It relates to the biblical calendar and in appointed times. Just tell me. Oh, let's see what it says. See? Oh, wow. So remember, that will be until April 1st. Yes, it's going to change then. Why? Because that's the real new year now. So now they're telling us I want to know, 2026 in they're saying is the year of the horse. They're saying 2025 is the year of the snake shitting. I really don't like their stuff that much. I don't know about y'all. I really don't. Here we go. A clear, grounded, fully cited explanation of the biblical meaning of the Hebrew year 5,786 based on the results. The biblical meaning with citations. Okay. I just did this. Okay, so we're done. We're done with this. Oh, wow. Isn't that something? So, but remember, this is only until April when the year changes. So now that sounds better than what we have been hearing from these other ones. And I think I like that better. And I need to actually put that down until April. I need to write it down and put it down. I try to write a lot of stuff down just to remember. I really do be looking at stuff up there. I be trying to write stuff down so I can remember. But anyway, be blessed, guys. We are bruised and not broken. We are here. And this year is a wonderful year. And it's like, I went through a lot this year. I did. Whew, I was refined. I went through some fast. And we know even in the new year that is coming, meaning the biblical new year. Including, we're going to say this because they're going to have us change everything anyway. It's going to be 2026 whether I want it to be or not. Meaning, not to say it like that in this realm, but I'm going to go by that realm because I'm supposed to live here, not be up here. But anyway, so that's what that is. And I'm going to let this one go. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. But be blessed, guys. Enjoy your day. I don't know what kind of festivities. I don't really have any festivities, really. I cooked a little food, but I just wanted certain things, so I made it myself. My son is here. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. Not really celebrating, but I got a little noisemaker, a little whatever. It's not really a celebration, but I'm just like, listen, I don't know what else to do at this point. It is what it is for now. but I know what the real word says. But I like to drink and the party and all that now. So be blessed. New beginnings. But new beginnings are every day. Grace and mercy is every day. Be blessed. Be safe. And let's just try. I mean, it's not going to, these traditions, understand culture, it's going to take time to break from these things. Just like, why? Because we're so programmed into them. So we're going to have to really start moving ourselves, which is what I'm doing. I don't do all the stuff that I used to do. I'm not where I was, but I'm not where I want to be yet. And God is still working on me as well. So we just need to understand that and know that. And we will get there. We will get there. We will get there. God is fulfilling his promises. So be blessed. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we are bruised and not broken here. And we're trying to live the best way we can live here. Godly lives as best we can. So I love you guys. I was on vacation a little bit. I had some stuff I had to do and get taken care of. And now, so I'll be going back to work soon. And that will be that. And just looking forward to just change in my life. And it doesn't matter the year, the season. I'm welcoming change. But I know, you got to do the repetitive stuff, the consistency, all that before you even get there. You got to put the work in. I'm not saying work harder. I'm saying work smarter. You got to find ways to work smarter. But anyway, but we still have to work. But I love you guys because we're going to be here and God requires it. And that's just that. But like, share, comment, and subscribe. I did put up my Cash App and stuff for those who would like to donate to me. I do try to be a blessing to other people, but I do have stuff that I need to do myself. I need to be a blessing to myself. I am rebuilding my life and getting myself back, together in my life, my own life. And that's that. But I do try to give back as much as I can. I don't like to post, what I do or don't do because it's private. People be embarrassed, stuff like that. You don't want to do that. And then God always says that, he rewards you openly for the things you do, privately. And it's between me and them and God or whatever it is. So I try to leave things like that. If things get to be somewhere where it's like, maybe we'll see how that goes. But for right now, that's where I am. But, I'm going to let this one go. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hate that stupid thing. I wish it would stop doing that. I need to get them to change it. But anyway, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Like I said, I know I'm going to be writing 2026. I'm going to have to remember that too. Everywhere I go. Even though it's not even, that's not the year we're in, but whatever. Okay, I'm trying to fix this stupid picture. And I'm going to let this go. Be blessed, you guys. Love you. Like I said, the link for my Cash App is in my bio. If you would like to be a blessing to me and my family, sometimes I bless others as well. But love you guys. Later, we're blessed to be a blessing to each other and to pour. You must pour. If you want to be poured into, you got to pour. Love you guys. Later.